Ken, great to have you on. How you doing today?
Glad to be here. I'm doing great, thank you.
So I wanted to start out with where everything you're doing came about. Did you always have a love for sports memorabilia? Give us, your background in a minute or less, so everyone knows where you're coming from for our audience.
Sure. So I've never made a penny any other way in my life except sports cards and sports memorabilia. I was a collector, 8, 9-year-old, did my first transaction as a trade with one of my friends when I was 12. And then I just started buying and selling all through high school. And, that's what I've done all my life. And in 2012, I started Golden Auctions. And, first year we did $800,000 in sales. And, last year we did over 300 million.
Hey, Ken, what's up, big dog? Good to see you again.
How you doing, Todd? Good seeing you. Long time.
Yes. So I got a couple items I want you to look at right now, and I want you to tell me, give me, if you can, off the top of your head, maybe a price range. If it's if value, I'm not trying to sell them. I just want to see what you think. So I got a Pete Rose autographed jersey. It says Hit King on there. It's got the number of hits. One of his jerseys that he worn. What do you think on this piece right here?
Okay, so the problem with Pete Rose is there exists more signed Cincinnati Reds jerseys with his signature than unsigned ones. But no, I love Pete. I've known Pete since the 80s. A typical jersey like that is probably like a $400 or $500 retail item.
Okay, all right. Now I'm going to go to the 1986 Mets here.
Hey,
I got the whole Mets team on here. 1986, one of the jerseys. I don't know. I don't think it's game worn, so it's a random. I don't think it's one of those game worn jerseys, but you got the whole team on here. What do you think about this one?
I mean, interestingly, it looks like it's in nice condition without a lot of bleeding. A lot of times these guys sign it in and it bleeds. I would say, for the right buyer, you're probably looking around $1,500 to $2,000.
Let's go. Where'd you get that, Toddfather?
Hey, you keep your mouth shut over there, Scotty. Okay. Hey, I got two more things. Something real unique here. You saw this the other day. Joey Chestnut signed a Nathan's hot dog box for me here. It said, "Eat like a." I think it said, "Eat like a boss." It says on there. This is something not many people are going to have. So, if to the right buyer, what do you think about this one, Joey Chestnut?
To the right buyer, $50.
$50. Come on, man.
Yeah, you want me to be honest, right?
All right, and my last thing here. And AJ's going to love this. I got a Joe West, one of his clickers he used. He signed on the back for me. Joe West, he's the umpire that he's got the record for most games umpired. So what do you think? Something unique is this if I get the right umpire to take this one?
It is unique. I mean, is he a Hall of Fame umpire? Is going to be the big question, right? I mean, he should be, right? So probably, look, there's not a huge market for umpire memorabilia, but probably something that could be a few $100s.
Okay.
Joe West thinks there's a huge market.
Yeah, Joe West
umpire memorabilia. Let me tell you, okay?
Okay. All right. The Mets one is a big one. So if you want to buy it off me, you give me $3,000, we'll call it a day, okay?
I think Ken's okay. Kratzy, what do you got?
All right, mine are on pictures, and before we get to the pictures, we're gonna pull them up here, Ken. Sorry that Todd is showing you all of his junk. Like I can see your face, like you're like, dang. But before we get to the pictures, my one question is, for you, what is like the white whale item? What is you're like, oh my gosh, this is the holy grail of items that I would love to auction off? Because I watched the Jackie Robinson episode.
Yep.
And I was hooked to it as soon as I watched that one, so I killed it. But for you, what is the item that you're like, I gotta do that?
I mean, you have to realize I've sold like 7 or 8 Tito 600s Wagners, so that's amazing. We've sold Babe Ruth game used bats, Jackie Robinson game used bats and jerseys. What I would love to find for me, because I'm like a baseball freak. I'm one of these kids when I was 12 years old. I memorized the price guide. I memorized the baseball encyclopedia. So if I could find an authentic Babe Ruth game-worn Red Sox jersey, that to me would be the ultimate, or something worn by Joe Jackson. Again, and the key with this stuff is really being able to get it authenticated. I've had a lot of, the funny thing is there's been so many things that could have been I had one guy with really good provenance who told me that he had the actual ball in the shot heard around the world from the 51 playoff between the Dodgers and the Dodgers and the Giants. Of course, Bobby Thompson's home run, but there's no way to prove stuff like that. So if you can get an authentic game-worn Joe Jackson jersey or an authentic, and I've seen several Babe Ruth Yankees. There's about 5 or 6 of them that are known to be real out there. But if you can find a Boston Red Sox one when he was a stud pitcher, I mean, to me, that would be amazing. And obviously, there's a lot of great trading cards. I can say I'd love to get a really great Honus Wagner or a PSA 10 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle. But one of those items would really be earth-shattering.
All right, so we'll get to my pieces here. The first picture is a picture of a. Okay, well that's the first picture. How much would you give me for this blanket?
Oh my God. Probably $500. I love Todd.
Yeah, that's my guy.
That's a unique one. One of one.
Oh man,
that was good.
But no, the second one is a picture of a chest protector. Actually, I don't even know if I took a picture of it. So yeah, there it is.
I see it. Who
Chest
signed it?
protector. Now you're like, all right, what is it? Whatever. In 2010, I played for Team USA in the Pre-Mundial, the Pan Am game qualifiers. Todd Frazier's on there. Future should have been Rookie of the Year. We had Eric Hosmer. We had, some other we had Mike Montgomery.
Trout.
We had Chris Archer. But Mike Trout's autograph is on that chest protector. When he makes the Hall of Fame, which of my kids can I put through college with that?
None. Unfortunately, none. It is a nice piece, but this is what you got to realize. And with all collecting, it's the population of how many people collect a certain thing. Like behind me, I've got a game-used Mickey Mantle bat, like one of the last bats he used in 1968. And I think I've got Barry Bonds' 67th home run bat from 2001 season. There are a ton of game-used bat collectors. There are a ton of game-used jersey collectors. So those type of there's a ton of ring collectors. If you want to talk value, AJ can show me his his World Series ring. But
it's not for sale yet.
I didn't
just kidding.
I didn't say it was, but I didn't say it was.
No, I don't even know where it is, so it's gonna be hard for me to show it to you, Ken.
Okay. But chest protectors is going to be somebody who wants that. It's a unique Mike Trout item. I can definitely see a Mike Trout fan wanting an early signature of his on an item like that, and maybe be willing to spend like $2,500.
So community college.
Perfect. You're right.
All right, so I didn't know you only didn't do just baseball. So I got some different stuff. Okay, so this is one of one. Okay, this is a Navy football helmet. The hand-painted one when they did the ships against Army, signed by, I'm not even going to say his name, the coach, Ken, whatever, right? One of one right here. He gave it to me off his desk. You can kind of see it has, this way.
I've actually never seen anything like that. So
yeah,
is it
the
true
aircraft
one of
carrier.
one?
It's what?
Is it a true one of one? Like I
don't know of anybody else that has one. He literally handed it to me off his desk. He said, I go, man, I collect helmets. He's like, and I'm like, I always wanted that. He goes, here, boom. And I go, so I'll sign it for you. Here you go. So they wore it against Army. They're all hand painted. It's one of one. It's a Navy football helmet.
Honestly, that to me, in the right setting, is definitely $1,000+ because you're going to find people who want to spend money on a unique item like that, and obviously a lot of people, follow those games.
Okay, and then here, Todd showed off his 86 Mets, 2010 Blackhawks, signed by the whole team. Stick. First time they'd won in how many ever years? But it's got Kane, Tays, got them all. There you go. Probably
about $1,500. Now, it's not used, I assume, right?
No. It's a
okay. Probably about $1,500.
Okay, so I'm almost a community college.
If it was used, what would it have been worth? If it was, say,
if it was used in the Stanley Cup, probably $4,000+.
Okay. All right. Nice. So now I got some used stuff for you. Okay. Mask.
Sure.
With a sticker.
Yes.
See the sticker. Mark Burley's no hitter. Mask I wore.
Oh.
I'll get him to sign it if it makes it more worth
in Chicago. It's definitely going to pop.
I can definitely get it signed for you.
Yeah, honestly, that's That's an interesting one. I'm like shocked that he's not gotten. I always viewed him. I was a big fantasy player. I always viewed him as potential Hall of Famer. But I would think it's a very unusual item. It could go for $1,000. It could go for maybe $2,500. Really depends who the buyers are that are watching.
Okay, I can't give you the mask from the perfect game because it's right here. It's
Why?
already bronze.
Yeah.
It's bronze.
Yeah,
It's
but you
bronze, so I
can
can't
see it.
sell that. And it has a
Yep.
sticker on it. So I do have the chest
Yep.
protector though. Phil Humber's perfect game chest protector
Yep.
award with the sticker. Kind of the same thing as Burt. I mean, there's only been
Mhm.
23 perfect games.
Yep.
This is the chest protector one. The
And
mask.
he's the biggest sleeper of them all. Like literally
sure.
the biggest out of everybody who no one would have expected him, right? I mean, I guess Braden would be second, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Which I know you guys were just talking about him a second ago, but those are
Yeah.
talking about guys unexpected. I've never seen anything like it. Like I know, like if you had like the final out of a perfect game, to me, you're always looking at $5,000 plus because there's a market, there's comps that are established for it. Something like that is again really unique. Again, I'd put it in a range anywhere from $1,500 to $3,500.
Okay, so the last thing for me, let's just
Yep.
say I don't have it authenticated because they didn't do authentications at the time, but this is the ball, the
Mhm.
tie All-Star game, the last pitch.
Mhm.
This is the ball. This is it in my hand.
Mm.
What do you got? Remember the tie game, Miller Park, let them play.
Yeah, I remember that.
Freddie Garcia threw it to me, struck out. I don't know. He
Everybody
struck
was
out
annoyed.
somebody. I caught it,
Yep.
took it in the dugout. This is the ball.
If it is the ball. You're saying it's not the ball, but if it was,
No, this is the ball. This
is the ball. Oh, this is the ball.
No, I can't get a
It's
sticker
not authenticated.
because they can't authenticate. They won't do it. I've tried.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
I've taken it to authenticators when I was playing and said, "This is the last out from the 2002 World Series or All-Star game. Will you They're like, "We can't. They won't let us." And I'm like, "But I'm
Mhm.
Who won't let
the authenticators." They said that Major
No,
League Baseball
authentic.
won't let
Listen, here's the rules of MLB authentication. If they do not, they're supposed to. If they do not witness, like you're in a game, if they don't witness you take the jersey off your back, they're not supposed to tag it. If a ball is not marked, and I dealt with this with a guy, and because we sold Aaron Judge's 60-second home run ball. My big thing to everybody is whoever catches that ball, do not leave the stadium without having it authenticated, because once it leaves the stadium, they'll never authenticate it for you. So if they don't have a direct chain of custody to an item where they witness it, they will not authenticate it. So if AJ had the chance to swap that ball with any other ball or any time lapse, they won't go back in time and put a sticker
But see,
on
they
it.
didn't authenticate it though back then. This was 2002. There was no guy with a sticker, right? So there was no. That didn't start to like 04.
No, they
05,
did.
06-ish.
They did it. They did do that on a much smaller level because when Bonds was going, they did have it on a smaller level in the early 2000s, just not as widespread as it is now. To me, it's a unique item. It's kind of like one of the balls. To me, I'm thinking like a ball used in the first night game, but obviously not that important. Again, it's probably for the right person, probably around $1,500.
Okay.
What happened to the judge ball? So how did you guys prove it?
Oh, MLB was there to sticker it. So the guy, remember with the judge balls, what they did was they marked every ball with markings, and they all had a number, so you knew what pitch number it was. So the guy had the ball that corresponded to the pitch number, and MLB security met him in the outfield and escorted him down. And they asked him if he would want to meet Judge and trade it. He goes, "No, I just want my ball stickered and I want to leave." And he did the right thing. He got his ball stickered and he left.
Nice. And every ball.
And we got
Every ball was juiced.
Those are the rumors.
I can't even remember what I got him. Was it like $1.5 million, something like that?
Yeah,
Well,
not bad. Not that,
Yep.
Kratzy, that'll put some people through college. That's the one.
That's
Yeah.
college.
Yeah, that's the one that's the one you needed.
Hey,
Okay.
Ken, did you were you the one that got Tom Brady's last touchdown ball sold, and then he came back and threw some more touchdowns the
No,
next year?
that was an opposing auction house. Yeah, what happened was that they were selling it, and they made a mistake in the wording because they said it's his last touchdown, final touchdown. They didn't put in there that he may come back. So when you advertise it as the last touchdown, then the auction ended on a Saturday night, and then that Monday he announced he's back, and the guy didn't pay for it and sent the lawyer's letter and ended up getting out of the deal.
That's wild.
I know the guy who did it too. I think the ball went from 450,000 the first time to like 110,000 the second time it was sold.
Jeez. Okay, that's still actually more than I anticipated, though, because it's really
Yeah.
not the last ball.
Yeah, but at the time,
Yeah.
everyone thought it was because
Right.
like I retired and they got
Yeah.
remember the Mike Evans handed it to some random guy in the stands. He's like,
Yes.
"Oh, I got the boom."
That still handles a little bit of college.
Yeah,
Not
Yeah.
the whole way. A couple other questions before that, though.
Sure.
I've got one. It's not game used from me, as AJ will tell you 20 times over. But this is one that was sentimental to my dad. It was from a car dealership opening in Jersey back in whatever years. And can you see the signatures there?
Yeah, Thurman Munson and Catfish Hunter.
Yep. So
Yep.
and it's a
Looks
Yanks
like an
pennant.
Circa 1976 Yankees pennant. If again you're dealing with if you had let me give you a range. If you had a perfect single sign Thurman Munson ball, just a ball in the sweet spot with a really nice signature, really really nice, could be $10,000. You take that same signature, you put it on a pennant. You have the pennant faded out a little bit. You have the signature faded out a little bit, and you add Catfish Hunter to it, which you would think would be a good thing because Catfish Hunter, Hall of Fame pitcher, and Munson was his catcher, right? It actually devalues it. If that went up for auction, it probably would not get $500 based on the condition and based on the limitation of collectors who collect that type of thing.
See, I got to tell my dad he messed up.
Yeah.
Only
Why
one.
did you get catfish?
That,
You got catfish.
God.
Imagine if you're at the place and you go, "Oh, here, Thurman, thanks." No,
Just kidding.
No, wait. It gets better. It gets better. What about if you have a Babe Ruth single sign ball? Like a Babe Ruth ball, a really nice Babe Ruth ball is worth significantly more, like 5x a really nice ball signed by the entire 27 Yankees, the entire Murderers Row. Babe Ruth alone is just significantly more valuable as a standalone item. Same thing with Ruth Gehrig. Like the most valuable Babe Ruth baseball I believe the grade's a 9.5, is probably worth about $1.5 million. The most valuable Ruth Gehrig ball is probably worth about $400,000.
It's crazy. More is less.
Insane.
More is
Yeah.
less.
Yeah.
So Ken, I tried to buy. We had this whole thing. Lee Ilya did his big rant 40 years ago, and Les Grobstein was a reporter in Chicago, and he sold the tape recorder that he used he sold it on auction. It went for $1,800. This auction house. I don't know if that was your auction house or not. So then I went to the guy and I said, "Hey, I found out who it was," and I said, "Hey, I want to buy this from you." And I offered him a number, and he said no. I'm like, dude, like it doesn't mean anything to you. It means way more, and I'll give you more than $1,800 for it. So is there a way I can like backdoor him and you can figure you can broker this deal for me?
Unfortunately, it was not me. And what you have is you've got dealers and you've got collectors. Like collectors, you use common sense and you say, okay, you just bought this item for $1,000. I'm going to offer you $2,000, but they don't want to give it up. A dealer is going to take that in a second, and that's the difference. It really depends what it is. And I've always found that memorabilia and collectibles, and I'm talking anything that's not a trading card, is always more sentimental and can always range more in price than a card. Like a Mickey Mantle card in a grade of PSA 9 is going to trade within the same small range no matter when and where it sells, except it'll gradually go up over time. But a Mickey Mantle game-used bat or a game-used jersey, even though one previously sold, let's say, for $150,000, that's similar, doesn't say that same bat a week later can't sell for $250,000 with the right audience.
Hey, question for you. Say Babe Ruth just signed a random jersey, right? It's worth a lot of money. Like but it wasn't like his real jersey. Like say you just have his jersey that he used. Is it more money to have the jersey or just to have his random autograph on a jersey? Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Let's say there was a store-bought Yankee jersey, which I don't know, I imagine they had in the 1930s, and Babe Ruth signed it, and it was in perfect condition. Perfect condition. That jersey, single signed by Babe Ruth, probably, honestly, I've never seen one, probably have to be at least $250,000, maybe $500,000, just on the rarity. Yet, if you had a Babe Ruth game-worn jersey from that same era that was in the same type of condition, you're talking $10 million plus.
With an autograph or without, doesn't matter.
Without an autograph.
Wow.
without an autograph, with vintage stuff like that, it doesn't matter if it's signed or not. You just want to make sure it's real.
Wow.
What's a current item that you're like, okay, nowadays, like people should be keeping this? Like, oh, is it all just historic things, or is that too tough to guess?
No, it's not only, first of all, it's the players. Like my company, recently we did a deal with Julio Rodriguez, and he said, something, hey, instead of letting, me going to, signing some deal, let's say with Fanatics, where I'm going to give them all my autographs, I'm going to give them all my game use stuff, and, they'll pay me a flat fee, and that's all I'm going to get. We're putting all of his items in the vault, and we'll release them over time, and he'll be able to get 90% of the value of those items when they're sold because he's auctioning them off. So for a lot of the young players, anybody who could be, and everybody, of course, wants to be a superstar and thinks they're going to be a superstar, but everybody who could be a superstar, they should be saving every one of their firsts. They should be saving, save the first bat they use, save the first jersey they use, save the first ball they see, save all their rookie year stuff, because you never know what is going to happen. I mean, even Trout came into the major leagues, and he got off to a very slow start his debut year. A nice rookie year, but a bad debut year. As far as collectors go, I think, to me, that the modern game generates a lot of memorabilia, a ton of memorabilia. I think that stuff from the 1980s, guys, like Ryan, guys like Carlton, guys like Schmidt, guys like Rose, who obviously goes back to the 1960s. Carew. You think of all these great players in the 80s. I think that the number of items of theirs, their actual items that are out there, the population is very small, but they're not nearly as expensive as guys from the 50s like Mantle, Mays, Aaron Clemente. So I think if you have opportunity to get superstars from the 80s, late 70s, and even early 90s, before there was the real memorabilia boom, I think that stuff is all drastically undervalued. Unfortunately, today's players, like I remember, Steiner had the Yankees deal, and then the Derek Jeter deal, and I do not know. It seemed like Derek Jeter wore 162 jerseys a year because every week Steiner was selling another game-used Jeter jersey from his retirement. So, and there's just so much money in the stuff now. You have to go, to me, right before this craze happened, and try and find players that might be under the radar, or players that you like, and save those type of items. The thing about autographs, and again, this is just cold hard business facts here. Anybody who is living, there is potentially an infinite supply of their autograph, right? So any guy can do a card show, any guy can sign a Topps contract and be signing 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 cards in a given year. So those items are nice collectibles, but you shouldn't be putting $2,500 into, to me, modern player autographs, hoping that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you're going to 10x your money, because what's going to happen is the supply is going to be 10x, not your money.
That's good insight. That's great. Hey, let's finish with this, because we're about to touch on the topic. Doug Mankiewicz is the subject of our show with former players called Legends Territory. And the episode just released today. It's about his battle over the 2004 World Series baseball with the Red Sox. And he kind of opened up some new insight that we didn't realize. There was like a really intense battle, and he gave us some of the quotes back and forth. What's that ball worth?
To me, I think at the time, because they always come to me, Bloomberg and now Sportico, they all come to me and say, "What's this worth after every game?" To me, when the Red Sox broke the curse, I honestly thought it was a $5 million ball. I think it has gone down solely from the standpoint that they've won multiple titles since then. But to me, that team was so special, so unique, so loved, broke the curse, and it's such a famous team and such a famous ball. I still think you're dealing in millions of dollars in terms of the value of that baseball.
What?
I told him what I tell. Listen, Ken, listen to the interview. I called him the night of the game, and I said, "Dude, we are selling that ball right now. Put it on eBay." He goes, "No way." Watch the interview, and I literally called him and I said, "Dude, we need to sell that ball. We will make a lot of money." He goes, "We?" And I go, "Yeah, you and me, because it was my idea." And he's like, "I'm keeping it." And I'm like, "You're an idiot." Because now look at him. He got nothing out of it.
You should have sold it instantly.
He
Right?
should have sold it the next day. It
If
should have been
called
online.
Ken, it would be quick exchange and they handle the rest, right?
Exactly.
Yep. Hey, Ken, great catching up with you. We appreciate it. We'll give some plugs to, or if you want to, for anyone that's got something special out there, what can they do?
Sure. Honestly, I'm all over social media. You can just hit me up. It's either ken@goldin.com with an IN or just Ken Goldin anywhere on Twitter, on Instagram. I do read my DMs. And definitely, if you have not watched it, go to Netflix, King of Collectibles. We're top 10 show in 12 countries around the world, looking to get a renewal for season 2. And Todd's son and my son hopefully will be playing a serious baseball game sometime shortly.
Yes,
Hey,
yes. I was going to
go.
say that in a second here, that we're going to have a nice little battle. So when he comes back on, we'll talk about the game and who won. That'll be fun.
I like
Exactly.
that. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Todd, did you play Little League?
Yeah, no. Hey, Ken, I got my Little League jersey I wore. That could be worth something.
Hey.
I know that honestly, I know a lot of people pay big bucks for your Little League stuff.
Yeah.
Most historic, the greatest Little League baseball player of all time.
Yep. Hey, there's some really rich dude.
I'll
in
take
Tom's
Sean Burrows.
River.
I'll take Sean Burrows.
Sean
for
Burrows.
free.
There's some rich dude in Tom's River that would pay good money for that.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
I'm telling you. Yeah. Hey, Ken, great to see you, man. Appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me, guys. Have a good one.